Good evening, Vacaville. The time is 6 p.m., June 2nd, 2021, and I'd like to call to order the Parks and Recreation Commission for the City of Vacaville meeting. We appreciate everyone who is participating in tonight's Parks and Recreation teleconference meeting. This meeting will be conducted pursuant to the Governor's Executive Order N-29-20. Please bear with us as we attempt to use remote tools. Instructions to call into the meeting or participate from a computer are provided on the agenda on the city's website at www.cityofvacaville.com. Callers who wish to comment can press *9 to get into the speaking queue. Computer users can click the raise hand button within their Zoom controls to request to speak. Madam Secretary, roll call, please.
Commissioner Berumen?
Present.
Commissioner Gutierrez?
Present.
Commissioner Leonard?
Here.
Commissioner Thompson?
I am present.
Commissioner Vandertulen?
Present.
Vice Chair Vasquez? Chair McMahon?
Present. Thank you very much, ma'am. Commissioner Vandertulen, would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance this evening, sir?
Absolutely. All right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much, sir.
My pleasure.
Item number 3, approval of the agenda. Madam Secretary, are there any changes or corrections to this evening's agenda?
Chair McMahon, this is Director Walker.
Yes, ma'am.
We do have an amendment to agenda item 9B. Should actually read presentation of the Parks and Recreation proposed fiscal year 2021-2022 capital improvement plan projects.
Okay, very good. So with that change, 2021/2022, at this point, we will accept a motion to accept the agenda as amended.
This is Commissioner Leonard. I move to approve the agenda.
And a second, please.
I second.
Leonard and Thompson, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Berumen?
Aye.
Commissioner Gutierrez?
Aye.
Commissioner Leonard?
Aye.
Commissioner Thompson?
Yes.
Commissioner Vandertulen?
Yes.
And Chair McMahon?
Aye. Very good. Item number 4, approval of the minutes for the meeting of May the 5th, 2021. Madam Secretary, are there any corrections or changes to the minutes for that meeting, ma'am?
I have received no requests for changes.
Okay, very good. We will take a motion, please.
I make a motion to approve the minutes, May 5th.
Okay, so Berumen, and a second, please.
Commissioner
second.
Leonard, second.
Okay, so I have Berumen and I'm sorry, was that Leonard?
Correct. I apologize. I spoke over somebody.
That's quite all right. So Berumen and Leonard, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Berumen?
Aye.
Commissioner Gutierrez?
Aye.
Commissioner Leonard?
Aye.
Commissioner Thompson?
Yes.
Commissioner Vandertulen?
Yes.
Chair McMahon?
Aye. Item number 5, communications. Madam Secretary, do we have any written communications or correspondence this evening?
I don't believe we've received any.
Thank you very much. Moving right along to item number 6, presentations. And it looks like we have a presentation this evening. July is National Parks and Recreation Month, and it looks like we have our recreation supervisors here for the presentations.
Yes, Chair McMahon, this is Director Walker. I just want to introduce the recreation supervisors who will be presenting this evening. Elizabeth Crescente, Julia Madison, and Tiffany West.
Thank you very much. Welcome, ladies.
Hi, good evening, commissioners, and thank you, Director Walker. This is Recreation Supervisor Elizabeth Crescente. I am currently stationed at Three Oaks for those of you who I haven't had the pleasure of meeting yet. We are very excited to actually be able to celebrate July as National Parks and Recreation Month because last year at this time we were all quarantined at home and not doing much. So I'm going to ask Tracy to bring up our calendar of activities so you can see just a few little nuggets we have going on during the month of July. And some of the things that I would just like to highlight that are in my area of responsibility are some of the aquatics programs taking place at Walter Graham Aquatic Center. So obviously it just wouldn't be summer without some pool time as we try and battle all the triple digit heat that we're going to get. So I definitely want to encourage all of you to join us. We have lap swim going on. We have a new program, Aquaboard Fitness, that's happening on Saturdays that I would encourage you to try, or definitely bring your cohort down to enjoy open swim, which will be offered every day of the week. So we've got a lot going on, and updates as always on the aquatics page as part of the City of Vacaville website. Now I'm going to pass the baton to Tiffany so she can share some additional activities.
Thank you, Elizabeth, and good evening, commissioners. My name is Tiffany Ritchie-Western, and I am the supervisor currently overseeing all of our ADA accommodations, the early childhood education programs, gymnastics, and therapeutic recreation. With the Creek Walk and July 4th coming back this year, we're very excited to have both of these events. July 4th concert and fireworks will be held on Sunday, July 4th, starting at 6:30, and fireworks will be shooting off from Andrews Park at dark. This is also the first of our Creek Walk concert series. And after that, they will run every Friday from July 7th to August 27th. And new this year, Creek Walk will be a free event, so there will be no cover, and we encourage you all to come out and enjoy the festivities. Please check the website for updates and bans. I will now pass it over to Julia.
Thank you, Tiffany, and thank you, commissioners, for having us again. My name is Julia Madison, Recreation Supervisor based out of the McBride Center, and I invite all of you to explore some of our wonderful outdoor spaces in July. Hike Tower Road Trail, enjoy a picnic in your neighborhood park, take your dogs to the dog park at Centennial, or check out our new partnership with SCOE, the Outdoor Explorer Quest at Lagoon Valley Park. This hasn't officially kicked off yet, but all the QR codes are out there, so I want to tell you a little bit more about this new program. The Solano Outdoor Explorer Quest at Lagoon Valley is an outdoor treasure hunt similar to geocaching, and it offers explorers and families the adventure of finding hidden QR codes throughout the park. The QR codes are also known as quest caches, and each quest cache leads to the discovery of native plants and animals living in the area. It takes you to a video and a website, and then steps where you can log and record your discoveries. So this is a great opportunity for students and families to get out and explore not only our outdoor space, but the nature and the animals in Lagoon Valley. More details coming soon, but like I said, the quest caches are out there if you just can't wait to go check them out. And with that, I'll open it up for any questions.
Thank you so much, ladies. It's exciting to see all the different events fill up the July calendar. It's been a while, and it's exciting to see that, and we appreciate everything you do. So thank you very much for that. At this time, we'll open it up for commissioner comments or questions. Commissioner Bruman.
Hi, Commissioner Bruman here. Tiffany, you were talking about the 4th of July. Now, that's still going to be a pre-registered thing that people need to do online prior to just opening the gates and letting people in?
Correct. Right now, it is very fluid. There are a couple meetings scheduled for next week, one being held on June 7th. And so we are hoping to have some additional information at that time. And like we said, it is fluid, it is ever changing. And so potentially after we find out a little bit more regarding that June 15th California opening update, some of those logistics could potentially change. But as of right now, that is the plan, correct?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any further commissioner comments or questions for our recreation supervisors? I see no further comments or questions. Ladies, thank you so much. We really appreciate you guys being here, and we look forward to the fun events throughout July and the summer. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving along. Item number 7, reports of Park Manager David Jacobson.
Good evening, Commission Chair and Commissioners. Beyond our routine maintenance in the coming months, we are going to be, with the use of Measure M Park beautification funds, resurfacing the basketball courts at Magnolia Park, Hawkins Park, Orchard Park, and Alamo Creek Park. So that work will be going on this summer. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Any commissioner comments or questions from the commission for our Parks and Maintenance Manager? I see no questions. David, I will ask this. I was reached by a citizen about 2 days ago. There was a tree that fell behind Jepson Middle School, somewhere on the path there. Do you know, did that get rectified or did that get cleaned up?
We're still working on it. We've been working on it for 2 days. It's going to probably take at least a week. It was a very, very large live oak tree that one portion of it fell and the other portion is still standing and it's rotten basically in the root area. So we're going to have to remove the rest of it. But it's in the creek. But the safety and the hazard from the walking trail has been resolved. That was taken care of yesterday. Thank you.
Perfect, sir. Thank you very much. Have a great evening, David. Thank you.
You too. Thank you. Bye.
Item number 8 is business from the floor. At this time, this is the time to address the commission with issues that are not on the agenda that are within the commission's subject matters jurisdiction. Maximum 3 minutes per speaker. Madam Secretary, do we have any callers this evening, ma'am?
We do not, Chair.
Thank you very much. We will close public comment. We are now at item 9A, business. Director Walker, welcome back, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Chair McMahon. As this evening, our first item under business is our senior planner from the Community Development Department, Tyra Hayes, will be presenting on the downtown specific plan.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the Commission. Slide, please. So tonight, I bring before the Commission once again some information on the downtown specific plan. You may recall I did bring this item before this Commission once before, and the purpose of tonight is to let you know that we are very proud to be able to publish the public draft of this document next Monday, June 7th. There will be a 2-week public review and comment period, which will go from Monday, June 7th through Friday, June 18th. When this document becomes available on Monday, you can find it on the city's website. And all comments should be submitted to me as shown on the screen here. This information will be repeated again, not only in this presentation, but also on the city's website, which we hope to have up very soon. Next slide, please. So very quick overview. The city started the downtown specific plan in 2019. It does cover the downtown area as shown in the map in front of you now. It generally extends just north of East Monte Vista, south to I-80, west to West Street, and east to Depot Street. Next slide, please. The slide before you shows the overall goals of the downtown specific plan, and that goal is to find ways to promote a physically, socially, and economically vibrant downtown. So as you can imagine, this is a big order to fill, and there's a lot of different things that we have taken into consideration, such as the items you see on the screen before you. To this commission, you may be interested to know that we are attempting to find ways to integrate Andrews Park and the Creek Walk more into downtown itself. Next slide, please. So here we have a graphic representing what has occurred over the last 2.5 years. We had begun a section of our downtown specific plan, which was called our Connectivity and Streetscape Design Plan, much earlier in the process due to some funding requirements. That document has already been approved by our City Council. That was adopted in February of 2020. At the same time, beginning in 2019 and just recently concluding, we have been working on various evaluation documents as well as strategy documents. And as I previously mentioned, we are now at the part in this plan where we are getting ready to publish the public draft. Next slide, please. So here is just a quick overview of all the various documents that we have completed to date. And we will have all these documents available on the city's website in addition to the public downtown specific plan as early as Monday morning. Next slide, please. So as I mentioned, we did complete our downtown connectivity and streetscape design plan. This was adopted in February of 2020. Next slide, please. What this document really focuses on is trying to find a way to make all of our streets more friendly to all types of transportation, not just automobiles. So in this case, we are looking at ways to make our streets and sidewalks more friendly for pedestrians, bicyclists, and transit riders, as well as people in cars. Next slide, please. The first step in this was to take an evaluation of our existing downtown conditions. And we looked at everything from sidewalks all the way down to building frontages and on-street parking. So as the colors here show, things shown in red were not scaled very high or did not score very high in terms of being friendly to various modes of transportation. Yellow is kind of the medium ground. It had some amenities to support pedestrians, but it wasn't the best. And of course, the green was it notes the areas that were most friendly towards pedestrians. Next slide, please. So I do believe this commission has seen these next few slides, so I'm not going to spend too much time on them. But for anyone who may be seeing these for the first time, what a complete street is it's a street that has been planned for all modes of transportation, as I previously mentioned. Here we have a photo mock-up of what Davis Street could look like if we were to employ this type of design. On the left-hand side, you have Davis Street as it exists today. Here we're looking northward towards Mason Street, and further beyond that, we have our downtown. On the right, you'll see that it's the same streets, but now it's got wider sidewalks. It's got a landscape median. It's got an on-street bike lane, and we have provided additional shade trees to make it a more beautiful and more comfortable environment for all modes of transportation to be in. Next slide, please. So here it's the same concept, except now we're looking at Mason Street, looking eastward. Next slide, please. And here we have the same complete street concept applied to Dobbin Street, looking north towards East Monte Vista. Next slide, please. So I know I'm going over this kind of quickly, but I did just want to touch upon just a few things for those people who are seeing this for the very first time and or may have forgotten some of the things that we've reviewed previously. There are a lot of opportunities as part of our downtown specific plan. In this case, we're still looking at things related to improvements within the public right-of-way. And we realize that there are a lot of opportunities to make it a more pleasant and safer environment for people on bikes or on foot. And that would including decorative sidewalks that are not only very visible, and some people would say even pretty, but it also alerts drivers that they're entering an area where they can expect people on bikes and or on foot. In addition to that, we are looking at various signage opportunities. Here we have our very well-known and highly photographed downtown Vacaville sign. Not only does it announce that you're entering a special place within Vacaville, but it also serves as a place that allows you to know you've arrived. This is something we call placemaking. It really identifies you're in a unique area. And lastly, that sign also functions as a public piece of art. So that's something I'll touch upon in just a moment. Next slide, please. So additional opportunities do include public art, and I do understand that is of specific interest to this commission. This is something that we've also shared with your Arts Advisory Commission. What we are doing here is we're looking at opportunities to not only install and permit public art, but we're also looking at ways to permit private art as well. So given the nature of this document and how comprehensive it is, unfortunately, we were unable to identify exactly how certain aspects are going to be implemented. So as part of the downtown specific plan implementation, we will be creating a public and private arts master plan. That document will be created through community development with input and help from your staff, from the Parks and Recreation Department itself. So what we want to do in that is we would like to identify what type of public art, public and private type of art is permitted, and what the process is in order to get that art installed. It is our goal to make that process as easy and as streamlined as possible. So we hope to begin that implementation task as early as 2022. The reason it's 2022 is because the downtown specific plan still has a few months to go before it goes into its adoption hearings in September, possibly October of this year. Next slide, please. So this is a slide that focuses on placemaking. As I quickly alluded to earlier, placemaking is pretty much what it sounds like. It's creating a unique destination that draws people to it. What you're currently looking at on your screen is what we are proposing for a future expanded town square, which would then become a town center. Now, I apologize, I can't point things out on this map, but to the bottom of your screen, right where kind of the color coding begins, that is a little leg of Merchant Street between Dobbins and Main Street. Main Street, oh, thank you. Main Street is the next, I guess you would call it parallel street above that. And then everything beyond that is both the existing town square and the parking lot behind it, which is located right in front of the library and extends to the senior center. And finally, to the northeast, to the corner of Dobbin Street and East Monte Vista. So under this concept, we're proposing to create a true heart for downtown. This would become an area where we would hope to have more people congregating downtown at various festivals, as part of just your day-to-day shopping. And hopefully it'll provide a much larger opportunity for people to permanently engage in outside dining year-round. Now, what I'm showing you here is our long-term conceptual plan for this area. In this case, we're guessing it would probably take us about 25 years to complete because financing, of course, will be an issue, and we will have to start doing our development as financing becomes available. One thing that would probably be of most interest to this group is we are hoping to create a new creek walk on this, I guess you call it the southeast side of Ulatis Creek. That is also shown on the slide. If you follow the, let's see, it'd be the town square to the top of your screen, you'll see a new creek walk being added. The idea is to have people on both sides of the creek. We would be adding bridges in order to facilitate this additional creek walk. In addition, we would be including things such as sculptures and interactive water features as well. Next slide, please. So here is the same plan, but a little zoomed in. You can see a little more clearly the new proposed creek walk on the southeast side of the creek. You can also see that we are proposing that we add sculptures and other types of public art. There is a plan to do something that's very interactive, something similar to a participatory fountain. We are also looking at infilling some of the area. So in order to do this, we would have to remove the existing parking lot in front of the library. This is not being, we are not proposing to remove parking directly in front of the senior center. In order to remove that parking, we realized we need to replace it. So as part of this long-term plan, we are also identifying the potential for structured parking. We can't give you a direct or a definitive timeline as to when that would occur. It's really all based on the timing of the development. Next slide, please. Again, this is the same map. We're just zooming into that northeast corner of East Monte Vista and Dobbins. To help put this in perspective, currently the Beer 40 beer garden is located in this corner. It is my understanding that our city council did give the green light to go ahead and sell that property to Beer 40 for a permanent structure in the future. What the public will be seeing this summer is still their temporary setup. Next slide, please. So as I mentioned, we do realize how important public and private art is to the concept of placemaking. We understand the downtown cannot compete with the various retailers located along the freeway, but we can compete by providing something different and unique. And that's really is where the placemaking and the public and private art come in. So as we begin the process of creating that public and private art master plan, please expect to see us a little more often, not only myself, but also your staff as we start processing and creating that document. Next slide, please. So these I just put in if anyone had any questions. This is simply a map of the proposed zoning designations within downtown. They do vary a little different from the rest of the city zoning. Next slide, please. Here, we're just identifying that we are providing numerous housing opportunities within downtown. It was identified very early in the process that having downtown is imperative to having a healthy, lively, and active downtown because it provides a built-in clientele and customer base for the businesses downtown. And it also drives the need to have other recreational facilities, such as improvements to Andrews Park. Next slide, please. I do believe this may be my last, close to my last slide. This slide is showing what we are calling our priority pedestrian frontages. These are the areas we really want to focus on in downtown to encourage people to window shop. We want them to stroll up and down these areas that extend along Main Street between Parker and McClellan Street, going east to west, as well as a little portion of Merchant Street, and finally, a portion of Dobbin Street extending from Merchant Street up to East Monte Vista. So in these cases, we will be looking to include things such as wider sidewalks and shade trees, but we're also going to be looking at installing an art walk in these locations. So that art walk will also be included in that future public and private arts master plan. Next slide, please. So as I mentioned, this is a repeat of a previous slide, but I really want to encourage people to take a look at the public draft of the downtown specific plan, which will be available on June 7th. Comments will be received until June 18th. We are going to be working to make the location of this document on the city's website very obvious, so people will not have to search for it. And my contact information shown here will also be available on the city's website. Next slide, please. So with that, this presentation was kind of a truncated presentation focusing mainly on those items I thought would be of most interest to this commission. But for anyone who would like to know more about the downtown specific plans and more about the specifics of the plan itself, we will be giving a series of various public meetings over the next 2 weeks. The first meeting will be given, will be an informational presentation to our city council on June 8th. That presentation will be given by our downtown specific plan consultant team. The following day on June 9th, we will be having a live webinar. The information is provided here, but just like everything else I've mentioned tonight, all this information will be made available on the city's website. During that webinar, we will once again go over the specifics of the plan and give the public the opportunity to ask questions. June 15th, we'll be doing another informational meeting with our planning commission. And hopefully, if everything goes as we hope, we'll be entering the final set of public hearings in September, possibly October of this year. So that does conclude my presentation, but I am available to try to answer any questions or address any comments the commission may have. Thank you so much.
Tyra, thank you very much for the presentation, ma'am. And at this point, we'll open it up for commissioner comments or questions. Commissioner Leonard.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you for the great presentation, Tyra. I was wondering if you could speak a little bit about what the public outreach looks like around promoting these meetings for community engagement and input?
Well, to be honest with you, we're still trying to figure that out. The reason I say that is, as everyone knows, with COVID, things kind of went to shutdown mode. We had gained a lot of momentum prior to COVID. Some people may remember seeing us regularly at the farmers market as well as town square during the noon hours. We were kind of all over the place. It was a little hard to avoid us. But now coming out of COVID, what we are doing is we are working with the city's recently hired public outreach consultant. And she and I have a meeting tomorrow morning to figure out how we're going to go about recapturing that lost momentum. So,
okay, thank you. I
think I can't give you details yet. Sorry.
That's okay. I think the concern is just that we're really diversifying our approach, and that we're reaching all kinds of neighborhoods and across the city, and really making it loud and clear that these are available so that the public has an opportunity, not after the fact, would be my only thought.
Absolutely. Forgive me, I forgot to mention, as we have always done, we do have flyers that were just finished today. We typically will plaster them throughout downtown, asking merchants to display them promptly and very obviously in their windows. And we do provide those flyers in both English and Spanish.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Gutierrez.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Tyra, for that presentation. Just one quick question. I heard you talk about the expansion on the sidewalks and the art and shade trees and signage, but are there plans for lighting?
That is a great question, and there is. So just like we are proposing to do the public and private arts master plan following this document, we're also proposing to do a complete streets master plan. What that master plan is it's pretty much a feasibility study. So working with our Public Works Department, we're going to be looking at the feasibility of not only fitting in various bike and pedestrian facilities within the public right-of-way, in other words, the roadway, we're also including a feasibility study for improved lighting, as well as irrigation and landscaping. But lighting is one of the major issues that was brought up very early in the process, and that is an item that was identified in our safety strategy.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Commissioner Vander Tulen.
Good evening. This is the first time I've seen this presentation, so I was pretty excited to see the plans that are forthcoming. Just a couple of comments. I think in the beginning of the slide presentation, you mentioned like this would be a 24-hour type activity. And I think what a lot of downtown areas struggle with is to make sure that housing is part of that, because you do need those people that reside within close proximity to participate in the downtown activities, as well as people from around the community coming to downtown. So I was happy to see that you were showing areas for redevelopment, because I do think that's critical. And I believe we can all agree that there are some neglected areas of downtown that could use a little bit of assistance. And it is a long-term commitment, and probably a lot of input from private development. Parking is going to be the big issue. I know other cities that I've participated in, parking is critical. And I think you noted on the diagram that there's a loss of 186 parking spaces, which will need to be accommodated in a parking garage. So I'll just say that that is a critical aspect, because you don't want to have it too far removed from activities. So I saw some of the areas, and I'm sure that as this goes forward, it'll probably take a little bit of reshaping in order to get those parking garages in the right locations. The public art walk is very interesting. You should look to the city of Napa. They have a program called the Rail Arts District. It's a public-private partnership with the Wine Train, as well as the bike trail, which is the Vine Trail. And they took the sides of buildings and they brought in artists to paint the sides of the basically stucco and block buildings that are there on the Wine Train, because it's a pretty bleak area for 1 mile. But they've really taken an effort to spruce that up. So as you go down the Wine Train, as you walk down this area, as you bike down this area, the public art really livens up the space. So I commend you for introducing and looking at a rail arts district. And I think the expansion of Town Square is really welcome. I think if it does punch out towards the library and on behind the senior center, I think that's critical to the success of the entire Town Square area, because then you can have larger activities and larger events, which will draw people. As you mentioned earlier, it's a unique opportunity to expand this. And I hope that the city will welcome this and that we can continue growing the downtown area. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Any further commissioner comments or questions for Tyra? Tyra, thank you very much. I just have a couple things. I'm happy to hear that we are absolutely incorporating Andrews Park and the Creek Walk into this plan. When I think of downtown, I instantly think of the Creek Walk and Andrews Park and all the events that are that happen down there. So it's extremely important that is a priority in this master plan. It's also interesting, Commissioner Vandertrulen just mentioned the Napa Valley Vine Trail, the bike trail, which is about 46 miles long. It goes from Vallejo all the way to Calistoga. My family and I did ride our bikes down that Vine Trail this past weekend. We absolutely did not do 46 miles, but we did about 15 miles up and down the valley. It was amazing. It was amazing. Obviously, Napa Valley is a beautiful place, but to go through the different small towns throughout the area was great. One of the things I did notice was when we got off our bikes to go walk around the town, there was not a place to park our bike or secure the bike. So I hope that that's been taken into consideration because that's, we want people to come downtown. We'd love for people to walk or to ride their bike downtown, but they've got to have a way to secure those bikes once they get there. So I also agree the arts and the murals will absolutely draw people downtown and will beautify that area. So thank you very much for that, ma'am. And I see Commissioner Leonard has her hand up. Go ahead, ma'am.
Sorry, Chair. Round two. I did want to add also, during COVID in the downtown area, the city's flexibility to really support small businesses, especially restaurants, and allowing them to spread out into the main square area, but as well as expand out and take some parking spaces out in the street in the areas near the New Journey Coffee area and La Borgata, has really actually changed the feel of downtown because there are people outside, and as people are passing by, they see people they know, and there's actually a stronger sense of community downtown than I've ever really noticed before because of all of that flexibility and additional outside seating that wasn't previously there. So the hope from my perspective is that we try to incorporate and continue that. I know parking is always a concern and issue, but if we could even look to kind of expand seating out in front of these small businesses out into the street in those parking areas where they currently are, I think it really has enhanced a sense of community in the downtown in a real positive way. And I hope that we consider trying to look to continue to allow those businesses that kind of space as they move forward. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Any further commissioner comments or questions? Tyra, thank you so much. I will ask this question of you, ma'am. How can this commission help you with the parks or the arts aspect of this plan? Is there anything we can do in the upcoming weeks to assist you, ma'am?
If you're aware of any local artists that we might be able to interview, that would be greatly helpful for us.
Okay, very good. I appreciate that. And the commission will do their part to help out with that. And I see we have a hand up, Commissioner Bruman.
Sorry about that. Hi, Tyra. This is Commissioner Bruman. Have you spoken with Rise of Redemption? You see her wall, that the artist? Maybe you could raise out to him because he did that wall for her. So, and his art was really nice. So it's something we can look into.
Wonderful.
Perfect. Thank you very much. And again, I will open it one last time to the commission. Any further commissioner comments or questions? Commissioner Gutierrez?
Sorry, round two for me as
That's quite all
well.
right.
So speaking on what Commissioner Bruman just mentioned, so some of those alleyways, I know, like you mentioned with Rise and Redemption, there's also on the other end of that alleyway, I think it's a tax team. They've already invested money into art for the sides of their buildings. I know with Rise and Redemption, they're moving into the Amflets building, and then she's also working on getting some quotes to cover that side of the building on Dobbins, as well as reaching over into the alleyways. So will their current artwork be painted over, or will they be included? I'm just concerned about those small businesses that have already invested money in artwork. What will happen to that as we're rolling out this specific plan?
We actually applaud what Rise and Redemption did in terms of their mural. And it is not our intention whatsoever to have them repaint over that. We would just incorporate them into the overall art master plan.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you very much. At this point, Tyra, I'm going to go ahead and open it to the public. Madam Secretary, are there anyone from the public with their hand raised for 9A?
No hands, Chair.
Thank you very much. We'll close public comment. And once again, I'll bring it back to the commission one last time. I see no hands. Tyra, thank you so much. We're excited. And again, please don't hesitate to reach out to any one of us, and we are here to help.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, ma'am. And moving on, Director Walker, if you would, please. We're at 9B.
Yes, thank you, Chair McMahon. So this evening we have Management Analyst Sakura Witzy, who will be presenting on the proposed 2021-2022 fiscal year capital improvement plan projects.
Thank you, Director Walker. Good evening, Commission Chair and Commissioners. We are very excited about the amount of projects, park and recreation related projects in the proposed fiscal year 21-22 CIP budget that will have direct positive impact to our community. These projects are set to go before the council during the second meeting in June for approval. The capital improvement projects are determined based on a number of considerations. Some examples may include addressing long-term ongoing maintenance, enhancing revenue, safety-related, development-driven, part of the implementation plan of the Parks and Recreation Master Plan. Next slide, please. The projects listed on this slide are some projects that have been completed this fiscal year and are some great accomplishments for the department. The Nascimesto Neighborhood Park had its opening last year. Parks and Recreation Plan was approved by the City Council on May 25th. Creek Walk Portable Stage was delivered the middle of last year. Nelson Park Master Plan was approved by the Commission in February of this year. Patch Park Master Plan was approved by the Commission in August of last year. And we expect the Centennial Park Interpretive Walk will have its final inspection soon. Next slide, please. Development has an impact on virtually everything. Traffic, sewer services are some examples. The need for parks and recreation facilities is impacted by development as well. Because of this, developers are required to pay development impact fees at the time building permits are issued for each residential dwelling unit. A total of $2.5 million in development impact fees are available in fiscal year 21-22, and the list indicates how these funds will be distributed. The amounts shown do not reflect the entire cost of these projects. These amounts only reflect the proposed distribution based on available funding for this fiscal year. Next slide, please. These projects are proposed projects to be funded through general fund. Some of these projects are multi-year funded projects, which means that they have been partially funded in previous fiscal years and or partially funded. Partially funding will also be proposed in future fiscal years as part of the 5-year CIP plan due to the estimated costs exceeding the amount of available funding. Although these projects impact our department, not all projects will be managed by our department. Next slide, please. The project list is these are projects that are listed for future funding. The project list is reviewed and priority is assigned annually. Priority is frequently determined by safety. Therefore, a project not currently on this list could be placed on the list as priority 1, or a project that is currently not set as priority 1 could be reprioritized as priority 1 if the need should arise. Next slide, please. The listed projects on the slide are proposed projects that are to be funded through Measure M. The total amount of these projects is 8.3. These projects are aligned with the Park and Rec Master Plan, and the Planning Commission has found that this list is consistent with the general plan during their meeting in May. Next slide, please. This is a list of grants that the department has applied or will apply for. We have submitted applications for the Shuttered Venue Grant for Venue Tech for our theater and the Prop 68 grant for Charter Park. Announcement of the award of Prop 68 grant is expected in late summer. Announcement of the award for Shuttered Venue Grant is expected at any time. The Owl Patch track is the only facility of its kind in the city, and due to COVID, we've seen an increase in use and with it, damage to the track. This track was installed in 2005 and will need to be replaced. The department proposes to utilize the per capita grant of $178,000 towards this replacement. The department will also be applying for the Baseball Tomorrow grant during this upcoming fiscal year. Next slide, please. And that concludes my presentation. Any questions?
Socorro, thank you very much for your presentation. We'll open it for commissioner comments or questions. Commissioner Vandertulen. I believe your microphone is muted, sir.
Yes, it was. Sorry about that. Quick question on the, someone will get the phone.
Call from stay unavailable.
One moment, please, while my wife grabs it. Okay, we're back on track here. So sorry about that. On the impact fees, the $2.5 million, that was allocated towards 4 parks. And I'm just curious, there were allocated numbers for each specific park. Do those numbers, so let's say, for example, Park A had 1 million and Park B had 2 million, but Park A needs some more money. Would you take those funds and move them around in order to accommodate whatever cost overruns or cost deficiencies occur? Or are those numbers fixed and that's what you have to work with on those impact fees? Does that make sense?
Let me see if I can answer this. And you're talking about the development impact fees.
Yes, it's 2.5 something million dollars. And maybe I'm getting a little too deep here, but I'm just curious, as each developer pays their impact fees for park improvements, are those numbers that they pay in impact fees allocated specifically to that park? Or is all the numbers pooled into like the overall $2.5 million, and then from there you pull the numbers out of it? In other words, can those numbers be adjusted based on the improvement costs?
Socorro?
Yes.
This is Director Walker. I'll take a stab at that, but I'm sure that our park planner, Hugh Hesterman, can elaborate even more so than I.
Okay.
So the development impact fees, when they are collected, there is a certain percentage that goes to neighborhood parks.
Right.
That is allocated to neighborhood park development, and then a portion is also allocated to community facilities such as the Three Oaks Community Center and complex there with the Graham Aquatic Center. Another community facility would be Owl Patch Park. So it's your larger parks and facilities, the cultural center. So yes, a certain portion of those fees that are collected, it's, there's a total fee that's collected, but then it's appropriated to community facilities as well as then a portion to neighborhood parks. And Hugh, if you want to jump in and elaborate a bit more in terms of moving or shifting those funds from one project to another, feel free.
Yes, I'd be happy to, Director Walker. I think maybe another piece of information that might be helpful here is to, in addition to knowing that the use of those monies is broken down into neighborhood parks and community facilities, but also regarding the neighborhood facility, the state law requires that these fees be used for the purpose that they were collected for. And so the neighborhood park portion has to remain to serve the people in that neighborhood. In other words, those homes that actually paid those impact fees need to receive the benefit of those neighborhood park fees. So typically we'll develop a 6-acre neighborhood park, and that park is intended to be developed only with the neighborhood fees from that local neighborhood. Does that answer your question?
That answers my question. That's what I was trying to get to. So yes, that's what I needed to know. So I appreciate that. Thank you very much for that clarification.
You're most welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any further commissioner comments or questions? Okay, and Commissioner Vandertoolen's hand is down. Very good. I do have a comment or question on slide number 4. Socorro, there was a proposed amount of $130,000, and it just said Adobe walls. Is that for Pena Adobe?
Yes.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, great. That I know that historical landmark does need some attention, and that's great to see that proposed amount of money there. And then also on slide number 8, when we were talking about grants, do all of these grants require the city to match that amount of money in a certain amount of time?
There are some that do and some that don't. For example, the per capita grant for the Alpad track, there is a 20% match to that grant. For Trower Park, because we meet the criteria, there is no match. And then for the shuttered venue, that is just reimbursement of revenue loss. And I can't speak for the Baseball Tomorrow grant. If Reggie can chime in.
Yes, Socorro, thank you. This is Reggie Hubbard, Recreation Manager. The Baseball Tomorrow grant does have a matching grant as well.
Okay, very good. So I hope that obviously it sounds like staff is all over that, but that grant money, I hope that we take advantage of that, and as I hope this department, we stay on top of that and we get that money, and our council approves that money for those projects. So very good. Any further commissioner comments or questions? Okay, we'll close commissioner comments. I'll open it to the public for public comment. Madam Secretary, anyone on the line?
Yes, I will open your mic, Ian.
Hey.
Good evening.
Can you hear me?
You have 3 minutes, sir.
Thank you. It seems like a lot of the Parks and Rec funding is dependent upon these grants, given whether or not they succeed or not. which like total on a couple million versus the dozens of millions that our city already provides to an overfunded police department. Shouldn't departments try to negotiate more for a more balanced city lifestyle? And that's all. Sorry.
Madam Secretary, any further comments or questions from the public, ma'am?
No other comments, Chair.
Thank you very much. We will close public comment and I'll bring it back to the commission. Any further commissioner comments or questions? Very good. Socorro, thank you very much for your presentation. We appreciate it, ma'am.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Have a great evening. We are at agenda item 10, committee reports and YSAC. Commissioner Thompson, sir.
Thank you, Chair, as I attempt to unmute myself. Reporting of the YSAC meeting that was held on May 20th, 2021. This was by far my favorite YSAC meeting to date, not specifically due to any agenda item, but because at least 50% of the league representatives called in from the ball fields. So that made me very excited to have people out on the ball fields, but yet trying to participate in YSAT and give us their feedback and have a conversation. But we could hear kids, screaming and playing and having fun and playing ball in the background. So that was very exciting. There was a great discussion about all of the leagues, end of season dates. They're all looking like they're targeting the end of June, maybe the 1st of July. Pony is ending a little bit earlier. National is working to host an all-star tournament. So they are working with Parks and Recreation staff, Reggie Hubbard, to on the specifics of those dates and their needs for that event, to be able to host that event. We talked about the COVID updates, and there were no real updates, although there was a slight modification published by the California Department of Public Health that updated the number of spectators at an outdoor venue, and that improved the ability for parents, families, siblings to attend outdoor sporting events. So that was nice. Reggie went over the field maintenance, field prep, and field improvements landscape, and kind of added some additional definition for all of the league representatives. I think that was very helpful. And so that was really good information and a nice little discussion about that. Let me see, just checking my notes. And that, I believe, is the gist of it. As I mentioned, there was some good discussion, and all of the leagues that were present reported in, and they were about mid or 3/4 of the way through their season, having good turnout. Some challenges, obviously, adapting to COVID protocols early on, but everyone, players, spectators, families, seem to be getting in the swing of things. And again, it was very exciting to hear people out at the ball fields. And that is really all I have. Reggie, did I miss anything?
Oh, Commissioner Thompson, I think you covered it all. Good job.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for all the work you're doing out there with YSAT. And it is exciting to see the youth back out there on those fields, and the stands starting to fill up. So that's all a positive step in the right direction. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
10B, Play for All Committee, Commissioner Berumen.
I had to unmute myself. Okay. Well, anyways, I actually had a great day today. I actually got a tour by Mr. Felipe. I met him out there, and kind of gave me a walk around and what exactly is going on. Right now, they're trying to get the phase 1 completed. As you guys all know, the infrastructure, the water, the sewage, electrical is all put in. Right now, they're working on the picnic area, so I'm putting down the foundation. As of now, they got 3, they got 7 more that need to be done. And again, you know, it's like everything is donated out there, and even it's the labor too that's donated. So he has to work around the construction company's schedule, which can sometimes be very suffering and, you know, getting things done. Because for him, he wish it was done already, but he's not willing to. He's not going to retire till this is completed. But again, the picnic areas is going to be an awesome thing that's on phase one, and also the plaza and the themes that are coming on to those foundation is pretty cool because it's bringing in all the community history. It's all generated into this Play for All Park. And it's just going to be amazing when it's done. And I feel that the way things are going, he's hoping they do have the money to complete phase one, and they're hoping that working with the construction companies that it all gets done in September sometime. So it was very amazing that, you know, his heart and soul is into it. And the only thing he puts out there for the public to go on to playforallvacaville.org to see if they can help in any way by donating, buying a brick, or, you know, things like that, or maybe even volunteer to help out. They're going to be mowing all the weeds out there next week, so all that's going to be gone. But I mean, it's just a neat thing, and I can't wait. I mean, it's going to be so awesome for the kids that are in wheelchairs and the swings that he showed me and everything. It's pretty amazing. He's going to be ordering the equipment, which is going to take about 2 months to get. So just the oh, got my dog.
We'll give Commissioner Broom a second there to take care of his dog.
I got my eye opener today, and I'm glad to go out there today, and I'm glad to be part of this now. So I'll be reporting again next month.
Outstanding. Thank you very much. I know we all look forward to that Play for All Park opening soon. And with that, is there a time estimate on when phase one will be the ribbon cutting?
Well, he's hoping. He's not, you know, he didn't want to commit, but I kind of kept badgering him. But he's hoping if everything works with the construction company and everything, he's hoping by September, end of September, it may be some type of a ribbon cutting. Again, his time is allotted by construction schedules to see when they can, because it's all donated, so he has to work around their schedule.
All right, well, we appreciate it, and we look forward to it. Thank you very much, sir, for your report.
You're welcome.
Agenda item 11, reports of Park Planner Hugh Hesterman.
Good evening, Chair McMahon, Commission.
Good evening, sir.
I have a few items to share with you tonight. The first slide that Tracy's second slide, I guess, is that I'm happy to announce that we provided our final presentation to the City Council on the Park and Recreation Master Plan, and it was met with approval. They had quite a few comments, largely in support of all the things that we all mutually hope to accomplish now that this document has been completed. And they also expressed their appreciation for incorporating a lot of their expressed desires in our presentation. Next slide, please. This is back in front of you because I want to report some very positive progress in the preparation for constructing phase 2 of Magnolia Park, which is located down in the center of the Southtown subdivision. On the slide, you can see the entire master plan for the park. The western portion, that would be the part on the left side of your screen, has been completed now for, I think we're going on 11 years, I believe. And it's a wildly successful park, very, very popular, as anyone who lives in the Southtown neighborhood can attest to, drawing people from quite a ways outside of their subdivision, which has actually some negative effects because it was designed as a neighborhood park. But it has all those components that everybody really wants to have. It has a great playground, has the spray play, the custom spray play feature, has a restroom, has multiple shade structures, the ball field, and other amenities. So now we have been approaching the owner of the subdivision on the east side. Tracy, can you go to the next slide, please? And this would be Agape LLC. And this is the tentative map for their subdivision. It's quite a bit smaller than the tentative map for the western portion. And as such, it will generate a lot fewer park impact fees than did the western portion. But the park itself is also smaller and has less of the expensive amenities in it. So we've been talking with the developer and have worked out a park fee agreement with them. They are anxious to go ahead and build their portion of it for us, which we refer to as a turnkey park when the developer builds it for us. And in that agreement, it specifies when the park construction is to be underway, when it's to be completed. And for that effort, the developer will receive park fee credit in exchange for the construction of the park. And Tracy, if you go to the next slide, it gives a little more detail what they actually will be constructing. The two parcels that are in the upper right portion of the oval are not part of the park, but everything else is. And we will be getting into that in more detail as the master plan is adjusted a little bit for a few things that we've been waiting for. That agreement, that park fee agreement, will be going to council, we think, on June 8th, along with their final map, that subdivider's final map, and it will be presented to the council for their approval. So it'll end up being a very nice deal for the city, essentially costing in impact fees, that'd be the neighborhood park impact fees, it'll end up costing less than half of what it would cost if the city were to build it ourselves. So the developer's contributing a very large portion of the overall cost. Next slide, please. This is the pathway that was constructed with the Centennial Park Urban Greening Grant. Goodness, I can't even tell you which year. I think this was, oh boy, I'll probably give the wrong year, but it was constructed a while ago. And this is right after the path itself was completed. And we are now to the point, finally, in spite of COVID, we're ready to do a final walkthrough with the state granting agency. Just before COVID hit, we were trying to set up a date for them to do a project walkthrough. And when that happened, the state was not allowed, of course, in good conscience, to do any site visits. And I offered to do a virtual tour. And actually, I guess now about a year and a half later, they're taking me up on that offer. So this coming week, I will be going out and photo documenting all of the improvements that were installed with the grant. Next slide, please. This is one of the little interpretive sign points that is pointing out all the native wildflowers that are planted in the restored areas. You see the purple brodia there very nicely setting off the pictures in the sign itself. And then off in the far distance, you can see the lights of the Horse Creek soccer fields. So we hope to have this grant finally wrapped up, all the money received from the state within the next couple of months after the walkthrough is completed and all the final documents are submitted, and then the city will hopefully receive the final payment. Next slide, please. When I, as a park planner, go anywhere, I probably drive my wife crazy, but I always stop and look at parks. And I heard that the city of Fairfield just opened their new dog park at Allen Witt Park. And I happened to be down there last week, so I stopped in, I took a few photos, and I'm including about 5 of them here just for your edification. And I'll kind of walk you through. This is the small dog area that they just opened up. You see the gates, double gating system there. That's pretty typical. And they have a nice entry icon to let you know where you are, that you've arrived. And they have a little shade structure there. One of the things that is really neat about this particular location, you can see West Texas Street on the left side. That silver pickup there is driving eastbound on West Texas Street. Is they were able to preserve a whole lot of the mature trees, which of course in our environment gives very welcome shade in the summer. And they did a nice job of selecting those. So next slide, please. This is the opposite end of the small dog area, looking back toward the gates there on the left-hand side. You'll notice the small dog area is got a 4-foot high fence on most of it. And then the fence you see on the left-hand side is actually the perimeter of the large dog area, which is a higher fence at 6 feet. You can see in the foreground some weave poles, part of the dog agility project, or component, I should say. And they've reutilized a bunch of the trees that they removed from this area for further dog exercise and fun, with little seating areas and stumps for the dogs to jump off. And then the DG in the foreground there for the dogs to run on. They spent a lot of money here. I unfortunately have not yet talked to the city of Fairfield to find out how much this project cost them, but I will find that answer out. Next slide, please. This is the large dog area, and I'm basically standing underneath the shade structure and looking toward the east. You can see the park road off to the far right there. And in the far distance, you can just make out a little bit of the dog agility equipment that they've included, plus all the stumps and logs and things for the dogs to run around. They included a very nice concrete, fully ADA compatible concrete walkway around or through the center of the park, I would say, make a little loop trail there. Again, I'm lusting after this because we were not able to include those kinds of luxuries in our Centennial Dog Park, just simply due to cost. And as noted, they have, again, preserved a lot of the shade trees there. Next slide, please. This is a shot looking back at the entrance of the large dog area on the left, the shade structure there, and the small dog area on the right. Unfortunately, they put the shade structures right near the entrance, which I would have preferred that they be pulled back just so that you don't have conflicts with the dogs and people hanging out right near the entrance. But overall, it's a very appealing facility, and those existing trees are just a wonderful welcome from the hot summer heat. I think I have one more slide. Tracy, please. There we go. This is pretty much a view of the same thing, but I wanted to point out that they did include a small parking lot here. I think it's 10 spaces, which I'm sure due to the popularity of this park, they'll quickly find that that's a problem. There's no parking on the adjacent park road. The handful of people that were there that I talked to that day, we filled up their parking lot almost halfway just with those of us who were there. I would say it's going to be a very successful project for them. That's the end of my presentation for the night. I'd be happy to take any questions on any of the subjects you may ask.
Hugh, thank you so much, sir. Any commissioner comments or questions for Hugh Hesterman from the commission? Outstanding. Well, Hugh, you did a great job, and there's no questions, sir, so we appreciate it, and have a great evening.
Thank you. You're most welcome.
Thank you, sir. Item number 13, item number 12, reports of Recreation Manager Melody Ocampo.
Thank you, Chair. Good evening, Commissioners. I've got just a couple reports for you this evening. I'm very excited to announce that we are very excited as the Parks and Recreation Department that there are restrictions lifting June 15th. As one of our supervisors mentioned earlier, when speaking about Creek Walk, there are meetings scheduled next week to make some decisions about how we can move forward and hopefully make some changes with things such as our health screening, temperature checks, and really how are we going to handle some of the mask requirements and different things that are coming from the state. We are still waiting to hear from Cal OSHA. There's an Occupational Safety and Health Standards Board meeting happening tomorrow. This is going to have a great impact on what we can do and what we cannot do, as we obviously want to ensure the safety of our staff. So with that being said, Tracy, I know you have some slides for us. Just a couple of things. We are hiring, and I really want to emphasize that here. We are going to be doing some additional postings. We've done some online already. And we're in great need of additional staff, as I'm sure you guys have seen throughout the community. And if you've gotten out even beyond Vacaville, it seems like just in every industry, everyone is looking to be hiring these days. And we are one of those organizations. So lifeguards, customer service, front aid, customer service aides, and then all our recreation specialist levels, field preppers, everything. If you want a job, we've got one for you. So just want to, encourage you guys to help us get the word out that we have jobs, and we really want to be able to offer, our full services. And to do so, we need good staff. So we have everything entry level to those with experience working with kids, or again, as customer service and those lifeguards. A lot of people ask us about open swim. We're doing what we can with the staff that we have. Obviously, we lost a lot of staff without having operations running. So we're trying to rebuild, and we need good team members. I promise we are a fun bunch, and we will welcome and train you with arms wide open. Lastly, I just have a really quick update about the Arts Advisory Committee appointments. So we did extend the application deadline until last Thursday, and I'm going to be reaching out to Commissioner Leonard and Commissioner Gutierrez to pass along the eligible applications and to coordinate scheduling interviews. So we're excited to be bringing that commission back to that committee back to a full roster. That's it for me.
Melody, thank you so much. Commissioner, comments or questions for Melody Ocampo? I see no questions, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, commissioners.
Item number 13, reports of Director Carrie Walker.
Thank you, Chair McMahon. Well, first and foremost, I wanted to welcome the new commissioners, Commissioner Gutierrez and Commissioner Vander Tulen. Nice to meet you and glad to have you aboard. You've been appointed at a really exciting time. As Socorro mentioned earlier during her presentations, we probably have more projects in the proposed budget that we have had in many, many years. So staff are very excited about that, as I'm sure the commission is as well. You'll see that facility tour is on the agenda, and I felt like it was a good time for us to plan something since we have not had an opportunity to spend time together. We haven't had an opportunity to hold a retreat or any board development or do a facility tour, and I just felt like this is a great time since we're entering the orange tier, and be an opportunity for the group to meet a little less formally and get to know each other, do a little bonding, and get out there and see some of our facilities. So Tracy will be sending out some dates, and we'll ask you to put those in rank order, what works for you. You don't have a meeting in July, so we're looking at likely a Saturday in July that would be roughly half day, and we'll end it, try to end it at one of our parks with shade and have lunch together. Lastly, I just wanted to say thank you to Reggie so much for stepping in and handling things in my absence. He, along with all the staff, did a phenomenal job, continuing to deal with COVID and weathering that storm, and accomplishing two major feats in my absence, getting the Park and Recreation Master Plan approved, as well as getting the budget prepared. So I want to say thank you. We have an awesome staff. I'm very proud of them. And I think that's all that I have. Does anyone have any questions for me?
Thank you, Director Walker. Any questions for Carrie Walker from the Commission? I see none, Director Walker, and I would also like to echo our gratitude towards Reggie. He did an outstanding job during a busy time, and we really appreciate it. Thank you very much, Reggie. Okay, we are at item number 14, reports of the commission, and we will start with Commissioner Bruman.
Thank you to the city staff for the presentations. Everything, I mean, it looks like you said, you were very busy, and I'm specifically very excited about the Pacific plan downtown finally getting a little steam and moving. I know Tara, she presented to us. I was part of the executive board back in, I don't know what year, it's a few years back, but I'm glad to see it that it's coming alive. But great job today, and great to have you back, Carrie. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Gutierrez.
Echo everything that Commissioner Bruman said. Also, Melody, it was great to see the calendar with some events on it for July. It was kind of sad last year when we weren't able to do a lot of things. So it's exciting to see all of the events that we have scheduled for July. Also wanted to mention earlier last month in May, myself and Vice Chair Vasquez were able to attend the Dia de las Madres event that Councilmember Silva put on at the Trower Park facility or park. That was an amazing event. I haven't been at that park probably since I've been a teenager, so it was exciting to see all the community come out and celebrate that event. And definitely Director Walker, I can't wait to do an official tour. I've been trying to do a little bit on my own. Actually reached out to Chair McMahon to say, hey, can we do this field trip? And he said, hey, it's actually on the agenda. So that's exciting. It was exciting to attend that event and also, again, just visit that park. And then coming up in Andrews Park is Pride in the Park on June 13th. And there will be, thanks to DVBID, there will be banners that will be hung up in Andrews Park at the end of this week, I believe that it's scheduled. So again, it's just exciting to see all the new life return to the parks and also some of the old life return back to the parks. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Commissioner Leonard.
Nothing to share out, Chair. Just want to welcome back Director Walker and echo the sentiments of thanks and appreciation to Reggie and his team. They've done an outstanding job in her absence, and it's wonderful to have you back, Carrie.
Thank you, ma'am. Commissioner Thompson.
Yes, I want to also welcome back Director Walker and comment on what an outstanding job that Reggie Hubbard and his team did. I had the opportunity to have a couple different meetings with Reggie, and he looked a little bit overwhelmed, but he never let anybody see him sweat. Did a great job maintaining his composure. I know that he was very busy and trying to handle all the different jobs in different directions, but for what it's worth, Reggie, I think you did an outstanding job, and I commend you for stepping in and having broad shoulders. So great job. I'm also excited to see all of the July events coming up. As I mentioned in my YSAT, just seeing people out at the parks again is just super exciting to me, and out in the open spaces and the ball fields and the soccer fields and everything. I'm super excited to see all this, the light at the end of the tunnel and things starting to improve and return back to normal. And I'm very excited about the downtown specific plan and seeing the CIP project list go on. So thank you, staff, for all of your presentations and all your hard work.
Thank you very much, sir. Commissioner Vander Tulen.
I guess I would echo the sentiments of all of my fellow commissioners and the comments that they've shared. I was impressed with some of the presentations tonight. Exciting to see the specific plan for downtown. That's exciting since I live nearby. I've not had the pleasure of meeting Director Walker, so I can't welcome you back because I haven't met you yet. So I guess together we'll meet and we'll break some bread when we go on our facility tour. So I'm looking forward to that as well. And as everybody's mentioned, we're going to the orange tier finally. That life is returning to normal and hopefully continue to improve in the days and months and year ahead. So That's what I have to offer tonight. So thank you all for the presentations. It was really quite interesting to listen to all that. So well done, Vacaville.
Thank you very much, sir. And yes, I'm going to just echo a lot of the same sentiments from my fellow commissioners. I want to say this to our graduates and the young people receiving promotions from school. I know it's been a challenging year, and you've all done a great job. Hang in there. We're getting through this thing. So congratulations to you as we move forward. Then also, as a reminder, we are not having a meeting in July. So happy 4th of July to everyone. Please continue to be safe and have fun. And it's exciting to once again be able to see fireworks over Vacaville. So that's all exciting stuff. So everyone, with that said, we will adjourn this meeting to the regular meeting of Wednesday, August 4th, 2021. Good night, Vacaville.